Hello. This is the first day of the week of February. This the 2nd of February of the year 2023, and sharing about what is the vibration as part of a narrative every first week of the month. The second week is about something else, and the third week is about something else for that which forms us. And there is a pattern on understanding this, because when you're painting or you are entering into another person's scenario, storyline, what is their narrative, what is your story, what is in the air. You can go to the best disco in the world and in Ibiza Pasha and dance to that song, which is the last song. It's the last song, and everybody knows it's time to go home. So you dance as you've never danced all night because it's your last song. And that used to be Love is in the Air. Love is in the air. Dun, 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 dun. So, you could enter into a scenario like that, and your construct, your formation, whatever's going inside of you has nothing to do. And you have entered this scenario and you are part of what's going on in the air. Sometimes it has nothing to do with that scenario, but that's the movement of what's going on through that time space. There's a vibration. It could be because somebody has fight and everyone is pissed off, or in certain cities and places is the main characteristic of the scenario, that vibe. Like when you are in Rio de Janeiro, you can smell the sex in the air, the samba, which is not sex, it's part of the culture, the mingling in the air, the looks. Even the teenagers, they don't even know what sex is about, but there is a chemistry in the air. You can see that in New York City as well. I don't know now with all this captivity. So just talking about that flare in the air, which is important to note, is or are you bringing that because you just had an orgasm and had a good meeting, or it's just because we all have these buttons and can automatically respond to be part of this vibration, or react, or just pass by, like not knowing what to do, really. Whatever it is happening in the characters interplay on yourself. So sometimes the theme is not what you want, and this is one of the rules in role play. So you have to become a very good role player. By the way, I'm very happy to see Rishi Sunak is 100 days that he's becoming more the prime minister. He's entering into a character that he has never performed. As a streamer said, nobody learns to be a president, a prime minister. It's something you learn by becoming it in that place and taking that role. And to listen to Boris Johnson taking care of the mediations for Ukraine, whatever it is, at least he's doing a mediation, and he could carry on the conversation on and on. At least someone is doing it. As many people are talking about it in many parliaments, as in the Irish, for and with and wanting peace as well. So it's quite interesting to see what Rishi is going to say. I love the charisma and bravery that he is standing up, and his elegance and sense of order. Because when as many fights they bring him, it's like they're bullying for money in the parliament, which is very hard because people really need to do meditation and do their catharsis there. Sports, hate sex, whatever it is to drain out the anger and understand our animalistic and visceral rage, which we do need to become aware, not only for our benefit, but for others as well, because we need this energy to push forward in the most refined manner. You can laugh about it. I could make jokes. I just promise myself not to do jokes this year, and if possible, get to I really wanted to feel grateful. Um, I feel it from the distance because I have the time to get to enjoy these characters, what they're doing, how they're growing into this part of history to perform. So there must be many ways to deal with the business. So Russia can respond back. Yeah. So let's imagine from the other side, the as bad as he has done, and war is a war. So of course people have to be punished for what they did individually, and but a war is a war. I mean, so um, whomever thinks that it is easy to make a war without destroying everything in your past, because you know very well it is part of harassing and threatening people and making people afraid. And we don't want to bring stories from the past because then it's going to continue. What Rishi Sunak represents a universal, intelligent way to look at things, and he is a master, or his master's degree is in economics, in numerics. So we can learn about all those forms of making business to make progress, and learn through different types of mediations that are going on to give in exchange something to Putin if he agrees. So there was also a million ideas as to distribute order in a critical situation. So if you're fighting for the land, what are you going to give to Putin? So, or the Russian, because they have invested a lot to recover their land. So how can you take this to another field? If they invest in technology and pay the destructions, and everyone agrees to not make more wars, that's gonna be a tough cookie. That's what someone used to say about his wife. He's a tough cookie. I don't think it's easy when thousands or millions are watching. Would people believe that you can make a peace deal that is going to enter into a continuum, international agreement? For that, you need uh, to restore and the rights of whistleblowers, because they are the ones who are going to note without having to lose their job or the economy of their household, of their life, so they don't die in the process. And this goes for any country in the world. So it's going to be so interesting to see what kind of meditation are going to be played and what will Putin want from all this. He will want to finish this war as soon as possible and start investing on whatever makes his aim. So there needs a lot of back and forth, and zigzag. So it would be nice to give my word of one of my many inventions, but for the fantasy world and the real world where we have a human interaction, we need these basic standards, and it can only happen when the dialogue is at least trying to get to an agreement. But for that, you also have to see the consequences of the future, near and far away future. And it's very easy to fall down into the same pattern because it's general belief. People in a war are too traumatized to make a peace deal. They don't have the space to to stop this, to stop this, for Russia to be involved internationally so we can all grow up together, because it's going to happen very fast. And no country should be excluded, because this is only one Earth that we have. So it's very interesting to see how the elements are at play and what is more important to is to exchange one field for another field. One is the material ground of Ukraine and its coast, and the other one is to give Russia an opportunity to continue a dialogue towards technology, just to put it like that, for everyone to, until the war crimes are finished. Because maybe they have help for this dialogue, and they had understand that they have found that we all have our little wars that have more meaning to fight for. So you exchange one war for another fight with the same meaning, which is it's going to be a long talk on mediation because people don't understand what is going to be virtual reality and how important it is for people to learn to have some imagination and inventive of their own and become culture enough and to take care of their bodies and to meet people in real life with human interaction. So it's going to be hard in countries where freedom of expression is more difficult to practice because people are afraid to have inventive or a sense of humor. But it's never too late. It is a very rich dictionary that goes beyond a cultural language, and it can help us to understand each other while we mediate and make business to incentivize people to learn and work and love what they're doing. Any job is a meditation. But we also need to move and do other jobs as well. They are infinite sources of learning and experimenting. To pass these mediations are also part of a chain reaction. I would love to give this place and this place and the system of how it operates greatly. There are international agreements, and until there is not a peace, until there is no peace, this could never happen. It's not because I said so, but it's part of the order of this nature. Yeah. Of course, some people will rather prefer to be superior and teach their own people to role play, so others become more and more primitive as your people evolve. But it's not fair. We're not here to role play anyone. This is for people who like anal sex or to rape children because it makes them feel superior for some reason. The way we act psychologically, the way we interact, the way we eat, is always the same. The way we dance, the way we are in bed, the way we manage our politics. We can become very good followers to get to where it is correct. And we can also take some risks and cautions for a creative mediation where thousands and millions of ideas could be debated for giving Putin what to give Putin so he gives this land with peacefulness, and we can enter new conversations about other things. And invite me to the library of Lenin. in Moscow. I do feel that English is a beautiful language, but when I am translating or trying to look for some words, certainly English is very poor. But it's very easy to learn because it's poor. It lacks a lot of dictionary. So, vertiente is a word where the river is having a vertiente. So it is because the water goes down always, unless it's evaporating, it has a vertiente where it comes from. So in English, the translation, and I might be wrong, but sloop, it looks, I don't know, maybe that's the correct translation. I guess it's not used as it is used in the Spanish language. Um, that one is inclined, prone. So the inclination, descent, ascent, ascent, because it comes from this currency. So instead of going up, you're thinking that you're gonna have a lot of power by going down, by and creativity is the word of the week. So the synonymous are above. It shows on the free thesaurus.com, the synonymous. They have a beautiful algorithm that shows the synonymous of this word, and it has some words that are up and go around down to the side up. So I would love to meet them. So they make the zigzag of these words that are synonymous as well, but at the same time are finding the antonymous. But it's zigzag when you're doing a mediation, as when you're doing role play with fictional characters, and they are 3 simple steps to enter. So you're already entering into another sequence. And probably as your senses start to grow, I don't like the word NAs because now NA is reality. As your senses through role play start to grow, because you have them there to, they don't need, it doesn't need to be alterated, but your senses have a capability that is through all the arts, and information runs through all the arts. And it should be a beautiful opera, a beautiful story where we can joke a little bit, and not me, but you. So inventiveness is above, and going to the clockwise from the right down goes cleverness, fecundity, talent, inspiration, productivity, fertility, ingenuity, originality. So these are, let's say, the arcana major of creativity, One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. But fertility and fecundity, I mean, fecundity and fertility, well, it can be fertile ground, but the fecundity is when the seed has entered. So I guess fecundity would be more masculine input, and fertility is more receptive. That will just state that. And these are in all the dynamics of sciences, in the arts of giving and receiving at the same time. So this is a mediation, a dance. People get juicy with their brains and start to operate towards what is a benefit. I believe the method does not belong to Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates, and there will have to be a fight of laws to bring it down to multiverse instead of meta multi. And so it can recover, and it does not belong to them. Once the cookies are solved, it will be solved the royalties with the ones responsible to partake into the mathematical. It's it should be systematic, but at least from the start, to have the glimpse of understanding that not just the creators, the inventors of this formula, or the first people who are taking a front to convert this net, which is making us jump to a universal understanding, to the values that we have and need to take care at the same time. So eventually we will see with the globe, a map of the globe. The Chinese will see what is needed. They can take lithium, but they can create swimming pools, or they can take from the mountains to put back on that earth because it's going to be sterile. Yeah, they're killing these big chunks of earth which were never a habitat, but is destroying as well your taking. Yeah, until it's not noted, because government take money. They say they're going there to protect the green energy, right? The president of Germany, the president, prime minister of Germany, going to Brazil, Argentina, Chile. You're right. He's going for interests. So it is good to share the same map and take note of the importance of checking everywhere the same map and being able to report and put the data consciously. So each country has their own royalty from their own. And at the same time, we all respect our differences, but some differences are still at bay. If people want to have nomads and just loom in the deserts, great. People are not forced to do anything that they don't want. It's simply mediation that some people might want to create green resources there and an oasis in the middle of the deserts because they love the deserts and they would love to do tribal dance there and just sing songs of the Sufis, not the Sufis, the Rumi. Well, the Sufis too, why not? But all this is work, and all this is promoting work, and all this is promoting this beauty and talent that a prepared person like Rishi Sunak can talk about in at least opening a conversation where you are asking the many mediations we can make to stop this war. And the that with the help of all the actors, as Boris Johnson is doing, because it is good to press, as they are doing with the tanks, the Leopard tanks, what they're going to destroy, give people 48 hours to leave that place, because everything is going to be destroyed. Is that the best way to relate? So Europe should never be based on that. And if Putin is offering peace, because now everyone is looking and everyone knows the truth, the winner cannot write its story now. This is for the first time in history where people are watching. And even if you don't put it on all your main channels, reporters will keep reporting the truth. Some of them here and there. My father was a journalist. They love to bath in the truth because for them information is power. So, and it's a form of creation, as a form of creating disaster. I can mediate for others, but nobody mediates for me, for my work. So I am still here waiting for the work I sent to Bill Gates for the multiverse to return to the people or the person that is in between, and to take a responsibility to respond to what I have given. Um, I had to do it in a certain way to force myself to believe this is the only way, because otherwise I will look for other alternatives, of course. So, giving that possibility, I had to reframe myself to continue with this battle. We play double cards, and we could just here and there, here and there. And meanwhile, what are you waiting for? A better deal? The longer the better? It's beautiful to be pleased, and for some reason I don't feel the people are pleased, and we need to believe the we can recover our joy, that it's not just for money, because many lost their incentive to make money, and they would just do it, and might buy things, but it's not fulfilling anymore. So if you want a society that is impotent and is frustrated, but at the same time repressed, without the creativity in their feelings, in their aspirations, because nobody's coming down. So this can multiply everywhere once everyone has agreed. And everyone means each person of every country, especially the main problematic countries. So Because this pulls the strings for more drama in the future. We will still have problems with decrease of transparency with extremist countries for Muslim. That is a systematic failure with Oman, Qatar, Azerbaijan, can't pronounce that well, Myanmar. The country I have to study for February is Myanmar and Burundi. Last month I was studying Algeria and I had to study Syria, but I couldn't because it's too painful. What happened there? Oh, what is still happening? So I don't want to force things that limit me from understanding, because I have my own wars I crossed over and survive. So it's a good time to have 3 months of purification. They are strings for the voice of the self, yourself, and the voice of your entity to communicate from. And those strings can vibrate through you without thinking too much, without reading a paper or discourse. It's part of your inner chemistry that's floating in the air as well, and that experience which is driving you to pronounce your voice. So that is beautiful inventiveness as you speak, because you're creating and showing that genius from all you already have store within the vibration of your knowledge and understanding. So it is not time to be judging, because we're trying to do a piece still, and it is good to bring at least questions to animate people, to bring as many questions as possible as what to offer. And if you are a leader, you would already have, as it's been asked, I would love to finish my own mediation from my own work and expertise and enjoy life, to recover my pleasurable senses. If to please God, humanity is too much to us, for everyone, that's the only way you can make love to yourself. You don't need to put yourself on sale, because no matter what people say, you're still gonna look the same. So this is not a show to expose market or window marketing and exposition there, because you're not on sale. This is not a product. This is a creative movement that has to do with the structure of future, and it's coming from United Kingdom. Remember always the abusers that you have within your family, because even if you are integrated with them and they are not being crazier than if they are just left alone doing the craziest of all things. So that's been prevented to see that you can allow these people put United Kingdom down because it's been always your initiative. We are all the people that are working here towards that goal. Where the Scottish won't feel they are apart, or the Irish, no, not just on Northern Ireland, but all Ireland itself, because of the horrors that are coming from the humanitarian catastrophes of bringing more immigrants. And we need to start right now relating with evolving countries so we come back to our roots and become tribal, dance while we're mediating values. This is not just somewhere you're going to make money, but also have cultural exchange. And that is the beauty of universal understanding in a financial system which is created by a person who have studied for that. And there are those who have the language to calibrate exact words of interest in between. And that should be the aim, where we can find that balance. So there is justice as soon as possible. Why prolong? Sunak has, like Boris Johnson, the thrill and power to move on. They could make an excellent movie as characters. I don't know why women are showing their breast in the parliament. There should be some codes of conduct where man can talk about serious matters without being distracted. Because for men, is as if we look, we look in the breast of a woman, for a woman looking the dick of a man with a hard on. So it's gonna be very distracting. Also, it's not like you're having fun or you are in the beach or you are going in a glamorous dinner, and so everything is more like, yeah, it's uh, calling you to say things that are hyperly poetic or metaphorically exotic, and a little bit of respect towards what one is sharing as a dress code. In India, we had to wear robes, everyone, not just, but it was very relaxing to not think about clothes so much. It's good people are dressing up very nicely and have time to make themselves beautiful, and they do look very beautiful, and it's appreciated. The thing is that there are fine lines which compose the British Parliament, as when you're going to church. Are you going to see someone's husband showing your breast? Things like that. So, it's like the daughter of Jordan Peterson. She says, because it's not good to be promiscuous. It makes you look bad. It's like, yeah, but she's showing herself naked, showing the line of her pussy with a bikini right there, naked in Instagram, showing her makeup all the time and creating sexual fantasies for people to look at her. Like, if, yeah, right. And you think because you're married, you are more respectful than someone that is not? Your mother had taught you well how to gaslight yourself. You're just learning. It is good to sell yourself if you need to, but to certain stages where everyone is trying to form an energetical field, there are certain patterns where the progress moves like a wave. So you're not standing there selling yourself to promote through any means or characteristics that are away from. Yeah. So everywhere you go, there is a standard. You do this, there, this, that, there. Like the Irish judge that I had in London wearing a green tie to show the Irish lawyer of my opposition because they know each other because they're Irish. Yeah, taking advantage. It is the same thing, taking out these characteristics because you can have the power to joke about it with details, right? So eventually, as we show and prove that we have this program, every party is going to work locally and show their productivity and be also part, not stop bullying to get money. The opposite party, Scotland, North Ireland, Wales, it's not the way to communicate anymore. We'll need to see that in the chart of the cyber business, chart flow. I can't wait to see it. Cannot be talked about. It takes brilliant minds to code that, to code it. So I wish I could be there to explain it better. And don't hurt anyone because you're hurting yourself. You are gonna hurt those who are trying to help you. So it is good to put them on their place, as I could be put in my place. And that's not gonna take me away if I'm put in my place, but doesn't mean that you're hurting me. So keep an open door to look at things being talked for the good of everyone. So if people are not having their lights because the meter has stopped, they should look for this help before it stops. And they should look into how can they arrange this because some people are not following the news or they're not talking about this. So how can they prevent from this to happen? And the woman is bringing a concern. So it is easier to think about it after you heard from it. And even if you have all these laws and capabilities, there are still methods to get to the problem. So it works automatically. in every human interaction, you are creating a lot of energy and change and evolution. And this is the greatest investment, more than computing, quantum computing, or artificial intelligence. And it would be beautiful to appreciate people's work. That is our work as well. So it's not just about talking and being intellectual, uh, seeing these phenomena more and more. How are you going to do this to turn this page? Who is going to bring the best financial negotiation? Because okay, now Putin is the enemy. He has done that. He wanted his own lands. So how are we going to enter into this? Or is it going to? How are you going to offer? How are you offering this to Putin instead of putting him as an enemy? That we know what he did. This is horrible. This should never happen ever again. So it takes the part of many for one to do it. And I hope everyone talks about peace, especially the press, journalists, at least questioning what could be offered for peace. But it's not just one part of the world, but everyone. Violence will continue, but in other ways that are a little more sophisticated, as to say you're capable of doing your sport without having to hurt anyone. Sometimes you must take that priority with aggression, because being too nice and waiting for others to bring the answer. It is beautiful that everyone in NATO agrees and is playing a slow down and back and forth and listening to each other, respecting each other's opinion and importance to transcend. I should be with my children. Imagine the mothers, what they're going through, if they're gonna have their husbands back or not, to be alone. Because there is a lot of abuse. There is so much from the vulnerable. It's no need to. It's a disassociation. It's a total lack of stopping something. So where would the agreement come? Because I don't think the Kremlin has much imagination to make an agreement that is technologically advanced. Yeah, they can go to the moon, to space, and for anyone, and have their engineers to have exceptional directors of classic music and discipline to perfection in ballet. But these are only a few. Their people are also growing with the internet. So I don't think people should stop expressing, but at the same time sharpen their pencils to point towards where we are going and what everyone wants and needs. So it's not that we're gonna forgive because that should never happen again. Then okay, then this should never happen again. Okay, then all this can should never happen again. So that would be the best mediation and help that Russia could offer in the future as NATO. But is where number one business. Like some people would appreciate as the top delicatessen to rape a baby child with all the money and power in the world. It's the same, and a speciality only a few can be pleased with. Those people to do and run the show. Till people keep up, want it or not, kill them. You will love, and at least I can remember that I used to love. That I would be happy. I would be excited. I am I am recovering the memory. But many advances has happened, but I'm not happy or excited. Like it's empty, totally. I only have this target in my mind, and it has not concluded. That's the only thing I want. I want my deal to be closed, please. Whatever it takes, just bring the best out of you, please, because I cannot do it. Only then it could happen. So we can all sign whatever the number, or yeah, whatever the number of that royalty is. So the multipolarity, the multiverse, that a few are gonna have the metaverse, that's never gonna happen. So we're moving this war into a financial system which some in between can understand the solution, as the greatest minds have decoded enigma one day. They have created another invention to finish this war. Not me, the coders. They are the ones who should be honored. I only had the idea, but it's still my intellectual property until it's shared, multiply and ripple. So this is important times where the coronation can bring us together, and you can enjoy your spiritual coronation as well. Is what it is to feel that. And one feels to bow and nod, and there is beautiful power with that, because it's not that you're bowing to someone superior, but it's descending a grace towards you at the same time, beyond the other and you. for what it is. So this is our story. And I do believe that Putin could and Russians could fairly, in the West and the free world, the so-called free world, could have a good translation of what they mean, of what they meant, and also be televised. As the Spanish, who are always talking about peace, and the South Americans, who have been always talking for peace. Yeah? As this world is operating towards seeing the same needs that this earth needs. The Chinese and Americans are great influence of power. So it is the many who are waiting to create these tools, to be instrumented, to share that orchestra of creating or taking care of these abandoned castles, creating something out of those ruins so it prevails for longer time. But we can only do that through working, not just speaking and looking at internet. And that is descending and ascending. That is descending and ascending. Is noted for everyone to see with the same transparency. And in finance, you could target these goals. Unfortunately, people go after money to have more power, and they will pay taxes in other countries, and they will scheme against their own government, even if they're born in that country or their blood belongs to that country. So there is corruption all around the world. So this is going to help everyone at the same time, even your own problems where you have come to mature and take accountability for your actions. It is a thirst for power, to have more and more. The 𝙬𝙤𝙖𝙩, I'm still writing about. It's gonna go to the right in the last terrace of the purgatory, because there is another chapter for the terrace before. So in every religion or mythology, there is a pathway of understanding our emotions and relations to our higher goals and lower, and at the same time, seeing everything at the same time happening. That is a universal understanding or love, because you need a lot of patience as well, not compassion, not just compassion, but because compassion has the characteristic trait of patience, but you have to remark patience. The metaverse is not about metaphysical stories. Not everyone can understand that. What people understand that is the multiverse, and that we have infinite multiple forms of biology on this planet Earth, we will get to take care better of and say, yes, we are culturally so diverse and different in our own multiverse in our own little world. And that is more creative to think of than going meta and promoting meta as if you are the face of meta, because it was not even your idea. And when I say that people are going to go in virtual reality with fictional characters, it's because it's the nature. People already have the real life, and real life needs to be appreciated naturally as it is and more. You're never gonna like yourself there because that's not yourself. Whatever hallucinogens or drugs you're taking, cut it off. Nobody's gonna tell you the truth because they're being paid to maintain their jobs and keep their mouth shut. But no matter how well they make you, you look like a jerk because the metaverse is not about you, also. You are not the face of the multiverse either. You're wrong. So if you want to be part of it, you're going to have to walk among humans. I could have been as rich when MySpace was. So I didn't have the investors, and I had to look for the how to explain the formula for how it works. Multiple actors and composers creating a storyline that is shared as a whole. So, and you can go on and see who carries the main theme. Because there is a fight for the main theme, of course. There is a beautiful creation that is supported. People can be driven to support destruction, anything, because it's attractive to look at, and that's what everyone should do, because that's the where you belong. It's always a safe place to be. That's how animals think in group. And societies which are in a unidimensional way of thinking, we can all follow this pattern the same, but at the same time, we have many dimensions running at the same time. Yes? So I don't want to talk about this. There are better. There's a better person to talk about this, but I guess we're all obsessive in our own way. The better you are, the more. So we must take care of the genius talent that we have around us and also regulate them in the private, with if possible, respectfully. Then things happen, right? So well. Finally, we're in February. February. I was thinking the time where I can see my children face to face and not become an obsessive mother, but at the same time harness their growth. That they do matter, and I do care for them. That it has not been me, but all these people in between postponing and taking advantage every fight I do to have them back. With my work, it will be easier if I married someone and pretend to be pretty and make pictures of myself in bikini on Instagram. Yeah, to have more likes and views and do everything that daddy says. Because I am what I am thanks to my daddy. Not only that, I am better than mommy. So how are you going to shake that off your system when you never created anything of your own? We have to face with wilderness beyond what people say. No matter how many colors you put in your mask, it's never going to convince anyone, not even yourself. So, what happens if you reach orgasm with many people and you find out the mystery there and you're not that special? The people can even find orgasms by just laughing intellectually. There is a tantra in there. There is creation. Yeah, you will become a rock in the floor. Wanted to cling all your ideas, to stand back and fight instead of being creative and orgasmic. And keep painting your face if you want. I paint every day, and I paint my face too. The thing is, how are you going to show yourself at what you are bringing? Because that's what you're bringing. Doesn't matter how you really look. You can look great or super great, but it's always about what you're bringing here, and all that is part of an adjective. You are an adjective. You are an add to the story. So we are entering into this. People are learning little by little how these relations work. First of all, none of your generations knew how to relate. You have been following rules, and that's it. All right. So learning and coping. All right. You are still in a stage of monkey see, monkey do, which we do that when we cross the street. If somebody crosses the street, we automatically cross the street without looking, and everybody crosses the street, and then everyone walks back because it's red. So we have that instinct of thinking as a collective without thinking well. Monkey see, monkey do is a way of thinking that is very primitive. So it's the cognitive. Get to enjoy and meditate and get to digest and think who you are. What are you adding to the story? That is the story that you have filtered out to compose in order to bring your character afloat and vibrate with the story on the peak of its wave. But there is a part of transcending and going back and letting others carry the narrative as well. And it should happen naturally if you are used to it. But you are first generation of a race who is learning to communicate beyond the copy mentality, yeah, which is human as well. There's nothing wrong with being an animal, but the middle class has problems with that. So it's better to be an animal when there is time to be an animal and enjoy your privacy. But I have to tell you that you have much more to add to the story, to let it ripple more, because you're convinced you have picked the best parts of this story in your own intelligence. And we're also waiting to hear from you. So you're going to be triggered with all your problems until your ego is broken, is dead. You'll become a better creator. The suffering is only the attachment of the ego of what you think to be. That is the only suffering. And we need these forms. I will have the suffering to be with my children until I die, and I will fight with the struggle of my family until, because I need that suffering until I have. It's embedded in my nature as a mother. If we don't have that code, genetic code, we wouldn't give a shit about our children. We wouldn't care about our husband being a father or having a father for our children, because the other one, the original father, loves them but is not competent. So women have to look around, but be careful because you're talking about all the women in this world. All right? So the thing about that, you have the right to talk bad about anyone whom you are representing, because perhaps you are the only representative now. Yeah, dress up like a sex symbol every day. A lot of likes, right? So be careful what you say. Every woman is attractive, and there is nothing wrong with it. So every man is attractive as well, and that is a human nature. Not to put as if it's a sin, but to respect where and everyone who is involved, because it's time to change this form and create a literature that is poetic, that is contagious for one another. Whatever you do or are in your private life, you have come here to perform a job, enjoy your life, and you have the weight of a responsibility. So be careful what you say. Think about it. Don't say what you have copied there that you think is what you should do. As monkey see, monkey do. Yeah? Break through your system in your mind so you're wired up. And it's okay to take a few seconds to pick the right words. People will wait with excitement and say, aha, She took care to pick up these words. Yeah? Because man also needs sex, woman needs sex, people need mediations. People don't need to be killing each other on mediations. People don't need to be judged because they have feelings or they joke. They are regulations we must take to each other without taking it to a war. And we have to understand that we're bringing the future to our present because we work for that, all right? So each individual has their own potential and expertise, and communicators, especially, to keep hammering until they nail what is universal understanding. You might not know what is universal love. You might start from the head or the tip of your fingers, putting your toes in the water, in the narrow swimming. There is an universal love, an energetical form of thinking. So you like it or not, it's not just an understanding. There is love within in the air. And that transmission equals plus, and it multiplies, right? So people get excited and do it. But if you're going to be all the time excusing yourself and postponing and because of this and that, then we're not seeing it. In therapy, the worst vengeance a woman does is to dress sexually, and she is saying with her image, look at me and don't touch me. This is said by the German doctor and therapist, Devopath. Look at me and don't touch me. Because immediately it's like having a man with the dick there and a heart on. How can you not just be distorted and think about what's right there next to you like that? Yeah. So think about it. Even if you're married, it's the same. And you will like it, maybe, but do it in the right place, not because you have mixed problems in your mind, in the back of your mind. Let it. It's not to judge anyone here, but the many of our understandings to be understood. You don't have to integrate it. I don't believe in that. You don't have to heal. There's nothing to heal or fix. Just see it as it is. And you see the pattern there, and that's it. So you can keep doing what you do and looking as you do and saying what you say. But now you're working towards something that is greater than you, and you're promoting this transition. Because that is what people need to be touched with, all their senses. As long as you keep your creation on with the wall, back and forth. So new conversations that are surprise. They're a surprise for everyone. But they know very well when these agreements are coming forward and when it's time to say it up in the air. Okay, so more or less there it goes. So like once again, half an hour. It's gonna be 8 o'clock. 15 minutes, 17 minutes. I can recognize that it's easier than what we think, what we thought, and appreciate it. Sorry, I have matured, and I admit taking accountability. I admit taking accountability. As young as you could be or old, to feel that you have matured. So it takes a lot to go away from the extension of that tree and feel that you are carrying a fruit of your own and a seed that is going to get lost in a fertile land. It could be the promised land. And you are going to become your own tree because you have matured in this garden. You don't need to take it too far because everything is provided from that let go. And the creativity has that continuous movement of let go for those who are inventive creation, of course. How many are there that really do? Because they're better businessmen with relations, I guess.